Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR 25 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we kick off our Xfinity full-time series debut with Sam Hunt Racing in the number 55 a Toyota Supra sponsored by Mac Door Systems. Now, as this is an exciting season on the way, of course, it's the final stepping ground for us getting into the Cup Series, as we had to go through getting a bunch of new employees signed on for the third car on the Sam Hunt Racing program. So similar, of course, when we were trying to race for Tricon and the Truck Series, and then of course things happened, and then they were building our cars. Well, now we of course have signed for Sam Hunt Racing, but we're a third car, so it's a brand new body, brand new everything, and so we're starting from scratch with this new team, or not new team, but new car on the team as we come into the season opener from Daytona. For Xfinity, we will be doing 2 races per episode, 25% each year. So today we've got simply Super Speedway Racing, Daytona and Atlanta. We come into qualifying here with the brand new 55 Supra ready to hit the track now, and I can confirm, with the slowest car, of course, we're going to be qualifying dead last. In this car, it got off to a bit of an interesting start because in the corners, I was actually really struggling to maintain my speed in the corners. You're going to notice it slowed down quite a bit down to the low 160 mile per hour range. It's just not that fast in the corners, and that's going to certainly impact us in the race. And in qualifying, of course, it means, dead last, 38th here with a time of a 54.352. Not pretty, and it was Jesse Love on pole position now, as we're going to be full-time against the likes of Jesse Love, Prospect Connor Zilisch, Shane Van Gisbergen, the New Zealander as well, trying to make a career in NASCAR, as we were ready to go racing here late afternoon Saturday here, as it's going to end under the lights in Daytona now, as we were ready to get rolling for this race now. And there you see Sam Mayer in the number 41 there alongside us now, as we get in the car and we're ready to take on, well, I would call it like the third chapter of our stepping stone to what we want to get, the fourth chapter of the Cup Series. The green flag is out and we kick off our Xfinity Series career here from Daytona International Speedway now, as we've got 7 laps of racing in stage 1, so we know for sure in stage 1 and 2 we can make it to the end of the stage without any problems on fuel, as we'll settle in behind Greg Van Alst and others, as well as going to be interested to see what kind of pace we have compared to these drivers around us, because of the fact that we know this car seems to really struggle in the corners on speed. It was just kind of bogging down, and as you can see, there's Kyle Sieg in the 28 there on the far outside as we head down this back stretch right to the back of this 35. I'm actually going to jump up briefly behind the 28 now, and then we'll get back down to the inside here into turn number 3. And right off the bat in the draft, I was noticing I was super loose, like nearly crashing myself loose, and immediately that's going to be something we need to adjust on at the conclusion of stage 1, because not only are we losing speed in the corners just generally compared to the AI, well, I'm also now at a point where I'm wrecking loose just about, and that's going to cost us even more speed. So this is going to be a difficult opening stage, and honestly, right off the bat, I'm realizing this might be just a difficult race in general. Every time we've come to Daytona in a season opener, it's not necessarily been the most pretty. We think back to ARCA, our first ever ARCA race. We were on our roof barrel rolling, and of course the Truck Series debut at Daytona, it wasn't very pretty either. Of course we got incident there. We started an incident there, but we actually didn't finish half bad. So honestly, just hoping we can survive this race. But you can see how loose I am here in 3 and 4. Shane Van Gisbergen right there in front of us now. He is looking to go full-time with Trackhouse Racing in the 2025 season, next season around here now, as we continue to try and rally our way forward. But obviously, as you can see, just that mid-corner speed is lacking so much that I just simply can't do anything, and I'm just fading backwards in the corners. So it's all about the straightaways, and it was very crucial for me to have somebody behind me, which we were fortunate enough to have somebody behind us at this point, like Greg Van Alst. But you can see I actually get a bump from him in the corner and actually shoots me up the racetrack, and now Shane Van Gisbergen would actually link up with me and start pushing me so I could jump back down to the inside behind the 99 Viking Camaro of Matt DiBenedetto, and we'll take him 3 wide into turn number 1, and we'll try to keep going forward here now. But yeah, I mean, this was, right now, looking like, a top 35 in stage 1, I would gladly take, as Van Gisbergen again is going to link up with us on the exit of turn 2 down this bank straightaway, giving me a nice push here now as we continue to rely on him to kind of keep us in the mix here. It's a bit sketchy because he's pushing me in the middle of the corner, and it's all about timing, because if I get loose at the wrong time and then he hits me, he's gonna wreck me. But I had noticed that his AI was kind of laying off of me when I was off the throttle, so it kind of made it easier. So Van Gisbergen, simply keeping me just connected to the back to the pack here in stage 1. So SVG coming in clutch here in that Junior Motorsports number 9 WeatherTech Red Bull Camaro, as he would eventually get past me though, and I would actually link up with him now as well here as we continue running about 36th, 37th. There's really nothing I can do. We're just trying to get to the end of this first stage to get some serious adjustments in this car. Imagine if we didn't have pit adjustments at this point, we would be screwed for the entire race. We could not adjust on it, but thank goodness they added that in a recent update. Now, final lap of stage 1, we actually got to the inside of SVG down the back straightaway here, 3 wide, no, just 2 wide, as now there you go, Brendan Poole to the inside of William Sawalich. I'm going to go 3 wide to the outside of Sawalich, who is in his 2nd season full-time of Xfinity competition now, as we drop way back now, and we're going to have help here from behind. I believe that might have been, I couldn't actually tell who that is now, as we're hopefully going to just hang on to 33rd, coming to the line. Yes, we will. Not pretty though. P33, not what I want to be doing here, and we've got some work to do going into stage 2. Jesse Love, who won the pole position, also wins the first and opening stage here from Daytona. We'll be pitting here for tires as well as fuel, and as you could imagine, we would make some adjustments. I would tighten up the car. Austin Hill manages to take the lead here in stage 2 after the pit stops now as the green flag is back out, and what an abrupt change in the lighting as usual here. Now that is one thing that kind of always bothers me from the NASCAR Heat Series to now NASCAR 25. NASCAR 26, I feel like there's no excuses. We got to have proper day-to-night transitions in that game. I mean, it's an absolute must. This is 2025, and then by then it will be 2026. Day-to-night transitions have been in racing games for 2 decades now. So nonetheless, we head down this back straightaway here. 7 laps in the 2nd stage, just like stage number 1. We once again have Shane Van Gisbergen lined up just behind us here in towards turn number 3, and huge shout out because SVG kept us alive in stage 1, and I'm hopeful he might do the same thing here in stage number 2. Now as we continue through 3 and 4, Austin Hill in control of this race, a driver that has continued to dominate these super speedway style races. Can he maybe do the same here again in the game now, as we are actually into the top 30, passing the 17 of Corey Day, now to the inside of Patrick Emmerling here, and then Brendan Poole going to get in behind him in that number 44 here. So a great start in stage 2, and Van Gisbergen continues to follow behind as you got Josh Bilicki there on the outside with the 31 now, but a little bit loose still. Even after adjustments, I'm still getting a bit loose. It's not as uncontrollable as it was in stage 1, but to a point where I knew going into stage 3 I still need to make some major adjustments, because especially in 3 and 4 you can really see I'm still sliding around. And in 1 and 2 I was still sliding around, but it didn't feel as bad. But turn 3 and 4, it was just super loose, and it was terrible. But we would continue to rely on SVG to push us now, and as we would actually break up a little bit here into turn number 3 on lap 3. Now I'm 23rd, he's 24th, going to try and maybe pass us on the outside. They're 3 by 3 by 3 in front of us. Absolutely fantastic racing that I simply don't have the confidence to get involved in because of the freeness of this car. Now the lack of speed in the corners is something we can overcome, but just the overall freeness of this car is just completely completely killing my confidence. As you can see, I'm barely mid-pack, and I am struggling to hold my own. Actually, a push from behind there. I believe that might have been Anthony Alfredo, who's trying to push us forward now with 2 to go in stage 2. I would jump up now, and actually we get turned into the number 11 of Josh Williams. Caution's gonna fly, and there was nothing I could do about that when I held my line. We moved up the racetrack. Next thing you know, we get hooked into the right rear of the 11 of Josh Williams. Caution comes out. That was off the nose of Anthony Alfredo, and that will end stage 2, and we're going to make some more adjustments here, and you're going to see I cranked the wedge to the maximum wedge of 55.0. We had as well a few repairs to make on the car after that contact with the 10, and we'll give up a position there. Some other drivers shuffle back. Shane Van Gisbergen loses 5, so now we are reconnected to the Red Bull number 9. Van Gisbergen not full-time in Xfinity. He is actually doing a part-time schedule here between Xfinity Racing and still as well racing in V8 Supercars. But like we said, he's already got a deal potentially linked up with Trackhouse Racing to go full-time in the 2025 season as we head off into turn number 1 and kick off this 3rd and final stage. And we're halfway through this race, and we are going to need to make a green flag pit stop here in this final stage. If it stays green, of course. And I mean, it's going to be hit or miss, I feel like now, but of course the only caution for cause, we were involved in it, getting turned by Anthony Alfredo. Really I don't think that was my fault. I don't really feel like I could have done a whole lot different there. He just simply came up and turned me. Now is a lap later here, 15 laps to go in this race. We're to the back of the number 17 HendrickCars.com Camaro of Corey Day, giving him a shove. Of course, this is a prospect from the dirt racing world that was really brought up into the NASCAR world by Kyle Larson. And if we can mod once we get to the PC version of the game here in only not even 2 weeks time now, Corey Day is one of those drivers that will be looking to mod and move up the ranks of NASCAR. Same for the likes of Jesse Love and Connor Zilish, of course, as we have been put 3 wide in the middle briefly there. And you can see still, even on maximum wedge, the car gets a little bit loose. And the thing is, when it gets a little bit loose, it just absolutely destroys your corner speed to the point where we gave up 6, 7, 8 positions right there. And I know I said 6, 7, but nonetheless, we continue to try and hang on, but just like that, we're down to P36. It's just not going well. It's all about survival at this point. We do know maybe the looming big one could strike, so that's something to keep in mind as well. And I am just trying to stay patient and let things play out here, because we have done multiple super speedway races in our career now, from ARCA to trucks to now here in Xfinity, and we know how easy it is for things to go wrong. But what a run we just got from help from Brennan Poole to gain multiple positions and then dive down to the inside of the 71 of Ryan Ellis. We'll go 3 wide in the middle there, and we get ourselves at least back into the top 30, but just slipping and sliding around, and that allows the 71 to power back in front. But now we've got some more help as well from Josh Balicki behind, and we'll go to the inside of the 11 of Josh Williams, split the middle right there, and now into P28 behind the 45 of Cesar Baccarella now as we continue on to lap 19, and we continue to lose ground in the corners and continue to make up a lot of ground on the straightaways. A huge run right to the back of Corey Day, to the point where I actually push his rear bumper in a little bit there. Not what I wanted to do, but it doesn't really change anything. We continue to hover around 30th place at this point now, as we are on lap 20 through 1 and 2, just ripped in the top lane. And I was feeling, the most confidence I've had all race was right now, but it still wasn't equating to much, because I knew that I still, although was more confident, I still didn't have the car I needed to be able to go up there and make some big moves. So I was making these moves here, 3 wide to the outside, trying to get a little bit aggressive, test the waters a little bit just to see what we can make happen. But as you can see, it gets worse. I put myself in the wall just with the car sliding around. So we dropped down to 37th as Balicki fortunately is going to save the day for me and stay glued to my back bumper. Nothing I've got really, as we would get back down to the inside. And actually now, as the crew chief is going to bring up a pit stop this lap, we're going to do 2 cans of fuel and 2 right side tires. So at the end of the lap here, coming to 9 laps to go, we're going to pit with a bunch of other drivers as well, and actually slam into the back of Sam Mayer coming into the pits right there. That was on the AI, but nonetheless, we'll come in, get right side tires and 2 cans of fuel. Waiting there, waiting, 6 seconds, 7 seconds, 8, 9, line just about, and you see other drivers leaving in front of us now, and we're going to come out in front of a few, but we're actually going to get forced onto the racetrack. They're actually going to just shove me out of the way. They said, screw you. Greg Van Alst says, I'm coming through. He shoves me onto the racetrack, absolutely destroys our speed, but fortunately they had to slowly roll around the apron, so my speed would actually catch back up to these cars, and meaning into turn 3, actually fortunately got a run, and that saved me, because if they would have been able to get away from the draft, my race would have been over. Now we've got to wait for this green flag pit cycle to work itself out, and we're just trying to stick with this little group here of the likes of Sammy Smith, Brennan Poole, Harrison Burton, Van Gisbergen, Van Alst, as well as we've got there the 20 and the 71 of Jones and Ellis coming out just behind us. We've still got some cars on the racetrack, including my teammate of Dane Thompson in the number 26, as we continue down the back straightaway to just hang with these guys now and just wait for things to sort itself out now, as the 19 of Eric Almirola was still on the racetrack at this point now, as we are coming to just 5 laps to go, and we're actually now losing some contact here, unfortunately, with these cars in front of us. Almirola has yet to pit, and he's lost so much ground being out there on his own that we are already almost past him. He has completely screwed himself now, as we are gaining heaps of time. Almirola might actually be out of field. We've got a crash. We've got a crash in turn 3. Caution's going to come out. Couldn't quite make out who that was. Maybe was that the 21 of Austin Hill that went around? It might have been. We've got more contact under caution, and multiple drivers still have to pit, and we can stay out, and we're P26 after all of this has worked itself out. But once we go back green, we gain 7 positions due to drivers having to pit, and now we're in the top 20 with a sponsor goal of 25th, and we go green with just 2 laps to go in regulation in this race. So suddenly we have actually got an opportunity in what looked like was going to be like an impossible challenge to beat the sponsor goal, and of course that sponsor goal is just a nice little extra payout, and of course beating those sponsor goals also opens up the door for more sponsor opportunities, so that's very crucial to get this top 25 now. As now at this point I'm just hoping that it kind of stays 2 by 2 coming to the checkered. I think that'll be a little bit more easy for me, because if that third lane starts working, some drivers are going to jump up there, they're going to start passing me. I do not want that, of course, now as we continue in towards turn number 3 behind that 35 of Greg Van Alst, and we just continue to hang on, as I can see a little bit of 3x3 up there in front of us. You can see me sliding around a little bit now as we roll through 3 and off of turn 4, coming to the white flag here from the Daytona season opener in our Xfinity Series career. It's been an eventful debut for our full-time season. Of course, we've already made an Xfinity start last season in the trucks at the Roval weekend, and we finished second. Now, we aren't going to quite have that same fortune, I don't think, right off the bat, because now we've got a car that's starting from scratch with this team versus a car that was already prepared. As we continue on this final lap through 1 and 2, we're P23. We're just barely in front of that sponsor goal. It's crucial to beat that top 25 goal, as we've got Parker Retzlaff there on our bumper down this back straightaway. Sheldon Creed, Josh Williams on my outside now, some 3 wide into turn 3, big run, Zillish checking up there as we head into turn number 3, and we move up into P16, huge gains into turn 3, we just need to bring it home at this point now. Off of turn 4, Sam Mayer is leading in the the Haas factory team, number 41, as we're going to bring it home for P17, coming to the line, maybe P16 at the line. We will take P16 in Daytona. We beat the sponsor goal of the top 25, and the winner would end up being Daniel Dye at the line over Brennan Poole and Sam Mayer, who would drop down to 3rd. So the colleague driver puts himself in the playoffs right off the bat. He did not make the playoffs in real life in this season, but yeah, here he is in the game making it. What a race, and what a last kind of, couple laps right there. One of our teammates there, Dean Thompson, ends up in 26th position. We make $48,000 for the team in profit that we can, of course, reinvest back into the car. Now, we're running level 1 parts for the first two races, because you can hold your own in the first 2 super speedway races with a level 1 car. So we're going to just maintain and not even invest this money yet. So you can see there we'll do some manufacturer sim work here instead of going going on an iRacing podcast, and we as well, if we can finish in the top 23 in Echo Park Speedway, we'll get a new sponsor of Toxic Waste. So we'll get some more work done on the car, fully repair it, but we're level 1 everything. But at the end of this episode, at the end of this second race here in Atlanta, we are going to purchase some level 2 parts. I do not like how you have to only go up one level at a time. So to get to level 6 or 7 parts in Xfinity, you're going to have to first buy level 2, then you got to buy level 3, then you got to buy level 4, so on and so forth. I don't like that. I just want them available immediately, and you know, if I can afford it, then I should be able to put it in my car instead of wasting the money beforehand to get the lower parts. Jesse Love, Austin Hill, take the front row. We start in the back for race 2 here from Atlanta Motor Speedway, Echo Park Speedway, whatever you want to call it now. We're going to call it Atlanta because that's what it is here now as we kick things off for our second race of the season here. And it's 11 laps in stage 1 for the Bennett 250. Of course, Austin Hill would love to win at what is a sponsored race for his team and his car as we head off into 1 and 2. Chad Fincham just in front of myself now is a very interesting difference here between like Daytona and Atlanta in the racing and the handling as well. We're still super speedway racing, but the AI, they are way more kind of packed up in 3x3 here in Atlanta. And on top of that as well, my car was driving a lot better, but I still had the same problem from Daytona where the car was kind of bogging down in the corners. So that meant that I had to desperately try to hang on to the draft, and it's going to be crucial to get cars behind us. And the actual handling part though, the car handled really well. So the only negative was the speed in the corners, but it felt like the lack of speed in the corners was actually hurting me more here than it was at Daytona. So it's kind of like we're making a trade. So now we've got better handling, but now we've got even more of a disadvantage in the corners, and that was immediately costing me as we've got a crash here in stage 1 on lap 4 down the back straightaway. Cars crashing into turn number 3, airborne goes a car up there, several cars involved. Caution flies immediately here in Atlanta. A wild start in stage number 1, and we are all going to stay out and get ready to go back racing, but my goodness, multi-car incident to kick things off here now as we'll go green again here in this first and opening stage, and I think that might be setting the tone for what's to come as this race continues. We're on lap 7 of 11 as Sheldon Creed leads his way down into turn number 1 here, and we'll settle in. Once again, we kind of just jump straight down to the bottom because we lack so much speed going into the corner that it's crucial just to be to the closest car in front of us just to get that maximum strength draft as possible. If you're wondering what draft strength I'm running, I run 50 on the slider for super speedways, and then I run 10 everywhere else because I don't want the draft to, you know, be super strong at other tracks outside of maybe like a Michigan or an Indianapolis or a Pocono maybe, but other tracks I'm going to run it at 10 if it's not a super speedway or those couple of tracks I just mentioned. Now as we head off into turn number 1 here, and very much like Daytona, we're running in the back at the start of this race, but we saw what happened in Daytona. We know that very well could happen again, and that could open up opportunities for us to get that top 25, but we want more than 25th or better, because if we want to get another sponsor that's going to pay more, we need a top 23. So we are going to put all of our eggs in that top 23 basket here and try to make this happen today, but obviously in stage 1 at this point, it's not going to happen here. We're just going to have to hang on and get going into stage 2 basically now, as I had nothing, but I was getting a little bit more acclimated of, okay, here's the disadvantages with our car. I know what I'm going to need to do going into stage 3, and so I knew, into stage 2, so I at least kind of had an idea of what I needed to do at this point now. As we exit turn 4 down the front straightaway, Jesse Love, pole winner, also wins stage 1 here in Atlanta, just like he did in Daytona from pole, wins the first stage. We are dead last, but at least we're keeping up with the pack as we'll all pit for tires and fuel. Overall, not a bad start here to kick things off. We actually gained 4 positions, and we have 3 drivers who lose like 4 or more spots in the pits, and that is really helpful for me as we take the green flag, and instead of being 38th, we're now up to 34th. Corey Day's back here, but the sun's starting to set. Another race that will end under the lights, but this is going to be a really good opportunity to actually maybe make some headway here. So the thing is, in Atlanta, if you saw yesterday, I put out a NASCAR Connor Zillish Road to Glory episode, and I talked about it there, where basically in in Atlanta, you have about 3 to 4 laps to make your moves, and then after that, usually the field goes 3 by 3 by 3, and it's a complete gridlock. And once they gridlock, you can't really go anywhere unless somebody makes some contact and stacks up, and those are your opportunities. You're waiting for mistakes. So if those mistakes aren't happening, you're going nowhere after 3 or 4 laps. And unfortunately for me, I have gone in the wrong direction here in the first couple of laps now, and I knew at this point I only had another lap, maybe 2, to make some moves here now, as we're going to get up to the back of the 31 of Blaine Perkins and look up the inside of him. And as we continue rolling out of turn 2 on lap 5 at this point, we had only gotten up to 35th with help from Chad Fincham behind. And as you can see in front of us, the 3 by 3 by 3, it's here. So now we've hit the gridlock, and we're just trying to pick off anything we can. As I look to the inside of Van Alst, actually lose the car a little bit there into turn number 3, but nonetheless continuing to try and go forward as quickly as we possibly can, but just have nothing. I actually got hung out right there to the 3 wide in the middle there from the 66 of Fincham, and now into turn 1, we're racing 3 wide for 35th, which we do not have any business doing right now. Into turn 3, though, we go back up the inside of Fincham, just trying to make things happen as Jesse Love is dominating this race. On the final lap of stage 2, we have only gotten up to P36. Jesse Love sweeps the first 2 stages from pole, and we end up in the 36th position. Right now, top 25 and the top 23 goal for a new sponsor is looking like it's impossible. But never say never. I would actually tighten up the car to a 52.5 on the wedge from the 50 flat we started at. We're going to pit for 2 cans of fuel, take 4 tires, the sun's set, the lights come on, and we're ready to go racing here at night from Atlanta for the 3rd and final stage in this race now. And it has not been ideal so far, but I am still confident that things are going to happen in this race. Now, of course, there is so much opportunity for the big one. If the big one strikes, it's all about, of course, how we avoid the big one. If we don't avoid it, well, our race is just as screwed as it is right now. If we can't avoid it, it could be a game changer. Will the big one happen, though? That's the next question, as there is certainly a recipe for it. Now, all it takes is one slip up from one AI car, or even myself, to create it now, as we have less than 20 laps to go in this race. Jesse Love has been absolutely dominant here from pole position to sweep the first 2 stages. He's already won 3 stages on the season. Now, running this inside lane, I had made a few passes on some cars and now moved myself up to 34th, just behind the colleague number 11 of Josh Williams. I'm wasting no time. If I can take a 3 wide to the bottom, I'm going to do so. We're starting to see the 3rd lane moving, so we know the gridlock is coming. Unfortunately, that lack of corner speed just keeps me from being actually able to pass the 11 of Josh Williams, but I keep getting these big runs off into the corner, and I have to take them because I gotta try and put just at least 1 car behind me. If we can put 1 more car behind us every couple of laps, we're just making a little bit more progress, and that was what I was really working on accomplishing here. Now, as we got a crash, Anthony Alfredo's around in the middle of 1 and 2. He was in that 3rd lane, and that avoids causing a big one there. The caution's out, and we are up to a night high running position of 31st as Carson Kvapel leads. Everyone's going to pit for a can of fuel and no tires. I'm going to keep my wedge where it was, and we'll restart from 31st position. That's something we needed. That's something that's going to give us an opportunity to actually make something happen as we go back green flag racing here from Atlanta Motor Speedway now, and the 27 of Jeb Burton out in front here now, less than 10 laps to go. Our Daytona debut, well, we were able to get back into that top 25 right towards the tail end of that race, and I feel like that it could be a very similar vibe here. If it's going to happen, it's going to be right at the end here now, as we've got Kyle C clearing us down this back straightaway. Now I'm trying to get up to the back of the 10. Daytona winner of Daniel Dye into turn number 3 now, as we continue to roll through the center of the corner, and you can see once again that corner speed is just so slow, and we rely on a push from behind here down the front straightaway towards turn number 1 as we cross the stripe to the inside of the 91 of Josh Balicki, now to the inside of the 10 of Daniel Dye, into the corner right to the back of the 99 of Matt DiBenedetto. Now, as we're back into the top 30 with some continuous help, we're coming up towards the final 5 laps of this race. When we come back around one more time, it'll be 6 laps to go here now on lap 36 of 41, and we're just slowly trying to get there right to the back of the 10 of Matt DiBenedetto now, as out front it's still the 27 7 of Jeb Burton, but back it goes to Carson Kvapil as we go 3 wide into turn number 1 with Benedetto now right to the back of Cesar Baccarella now through the middle of the corner. We continue to just fight forward. 27th, can we get into that top 25? We're getting closer and closer every single lap. Now the intensity continues to get higher in this race. Sammy Smith nearly crashes into turn 3 from the inside lane. He saves it and saves the pack here. The back half of the pack anyways now as we come to lap 38, still glued to the back of Benedetto. 3 wide, racing at least 4 or 5 rows deep up front, and then in the middle of the pack as well. We've got more smoke. Someone's out of control into turn 1, and there we go. The big one's gonna strike. The 14 of Smithley, my teammate of Thompson, many others involved, and we avoid it for the most part and break into the top 15 as the caution comes out. That is a game changer as William Sawalich leads the way. Can you believe it? We stay out, of course, and now with a restart with 2 laps to go in this race, we've done exactly what we've done in Daytona: avoid chaos, stay out of trouble, and we're now into the top 15 with 2 laps to go. We just do not need to give up 9 positions. Basically, just hang on for these final 2 laps. Now, fellow Rookie of the Year contender of Connor Zilisch to my inside. There's my other Sam Hunt Racing teammate right there in front of us of Ryan Truex on the inside. I would love to link up with him and help him if I could. But right now, there's a hole between Retzlaff and Zilisch. We're going to jump down to the inside. I know that's where this car is going to be its strongest now as we go through 3 and 4, approaching the final lap of this race here from Atlanta Motor Speedway now. And William Sawalich leads the way to the white flag. Can he win his first race in his Xfinity Series career in his second full-time season? As we're right to the back of the 88 WeatherTech Camaro now. Zilisch going to be one heck of a threat next episode in Circuit of the Americas now as we exit turn 2 down this backstretch one final time. We've done everything we've needed to do. We've still got help from Retzlaff. We're going to be able to get to the back into the left rear of Zilisch into turn number 3 to the back of my teammate of Ryan Truex now 3 by 3, but off of turn 4. William Sawalich has got no pressure. William Sawalich down the front straightaway will take victory in Atlanta. We cross the line to just barely hang on for the 15th position. What a race, what a finish, and we get the top 25 sponsor goal and the top 23 for a new sponsor going into the next episode. What a performance, and what a just a big amount of luck to be in position to even avoid the big one, to give ourselves that opportunity to have that top 20 run right there at the end. Overall, $48,000 profit from Atlanta, and on top of that, we have a good couple of solid runs to kick off the season. This is going to be a lot like trucks, where we're going to start the season off slow, and we are going to have to focus on winning a race later in the regular season to get ourselves in the playoffs. Now, as we do sign a new sponsor, Toxic Waste Hazardously Sour Candy, as we will finish off today's episode in a pretty good position going into next episode, where we'll take on Coda and Phoenix. We are going to have to buy these level 2 parts going into next episode, and we'll be going into Coda with a level 2 car instead of a level 1 car. Looking at the playoff grid as well, I mean, after the just first pretty solid races, we're not quite in the playoffs yet. We're P17. There you see, of course, only 12 cars make the playoffs. I do know how to now manually do the playoffs for the part-time drivers that win, so don't worry. I will be able to manually do the playoffs this season if a part-time driver does win in the game, so that will be easily taken care of. Nonetheless, I'll see you guys in the next one. We go road course racing, our specialty. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.